Vance Wyatt, candidate for Falls Park District Commissioner. I just got interviewed by Inchworm in the wormhole. Check it out.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to the Inchworm Show. I'm your host, Yashton Inchworm Phillips, and I got a special guest. You know, I'm always interviewing people. I'm all over the place, wiggling around, and I got a special guest here in the Wormhole Studio.
Wormhole Studio.
The Wormhole.
I was here when you opened. I didn't know the name of it.
Yeah, the Wormhole. That's what it's called. If all of you don't know, I'm a part of the hashtag #JustDoIt_Vote coalition. You should know if you've been following me. And this coalition is to get people involved in terms of politics. We're supposed to be, we're educating all of you about politics, the millennials, and we're also pushing all of you to get out there to vote. Now, we're not getting you all there. We're not supporting any of the candidates. We're not pushing you to vote for it, but we just need you to vote.
Absolutely.
That's our goal. That's our goal. He is a part of the coalition. He just so happens to be running for Falls Park Commissioner. Without further ado, let me welcome my special guest, Mr. Vance Wyatt. Hello.
Thank you. I appreciate having me again.
You know, I love you, Vance, because, you've been with me right from the beginning, Vance. You know what I mean? I was interviewing at the Waukegan Public Library.
Yep.
Then we went to the Lake County Board building, I guess. Is that what you would call it? The chamber? Yeah. And now we're here in my own studio. I'm so happy.
Yeah. And you was talking about having a studio back then.
I was.
You got it.
I was.
And you were talking about moving originally across the street, that one building right there, but that was too small or something like that.
Yes.
So now you got a perfect spot. So.
I'm here. And then the next thing you know, I'm going to have people behind the camera and everything. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you. So tell everybody just a little bit about who you are and what you do and all that good stuff.
Sure. So prior to now running for the Park District, served on the North Chicago Public Library for 6 years, so from 2011 to 2017, and then I served on the Falls Park Board, which is what I'm running for now, from 2015 to 2017 as well. Then in 2017, I left both the Park and Library Board, went to the County Board, and ran and unsuccessfully while I was on the board as an incumbent. Lost. Now I've left the board since November 30th of 2018. So now I'm running to get back on the Park Board to finish what I had started there. Just going back to when I applied for the Park District or the County Board, I had no idea I was actually going to get appointed. So I really didn't take it serious to get appointed. That I was going to get appointed. Sought no type of letters of recommendation as everyone else did. I just put in my application in and what I did on both the library and the Park Board.
So
got appointed.
And tell everybody how old you are. I like to ask you that.
So I'm 28 right now. So in a few months I'll be 29. So I was the youngest library trustee at the age of 20, and the youngest in the nation. When I was on the county board, I was the youngest person of color to ever serve on the county board.
That's why I had to ask, and the reason why I just have to highlight it because as I'm a part of the coalition, you're a part of the coalition, and we're connected with other millennials. It's just important for us to get involved in politics, whether we're talking about it or actually sitting in those seats. So I really commend you and everyone else who's been a part of it. It's just really dope, and you're young. You can join this stuff. Don't get intimidated. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can push the people out there to because you've experienced it. But here's my little push: don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated. Whether you want to talk about it or get involved, you can get involved and be a part of this stuff.
Absolutely. I was 19 when I had ran for alderman. That was my first foray into politics. Had no idea what I was doing. Knocked on every single door to my award. Lost horribly. So I learned from that failure and then running for the Park District in 2013. Those two failures and actually won in 2015. And now I'm running for 2019, which we have a really good chance. There's 3 people running for 2 seats.
Okay.
So the top 2 vote getters will get it. So say if the top person gets 500, the next person gets 700, those 2 individuals will be elected to the Park Board of Commissioners.
Okay, and what is your goal? First of all, before you get to the goal, what does a Park Board Commissioner do?
Sure. So you're pretty much it's like being on the county board or city council, where you are one board member. Each commission, there's 5 commissioners for your board. So if you're North Chicago, Waukegan, or Parks or Zion, you have 5 commissioners. Some other communities have 7. So like Naperville, Lake Bluff, they have 7. But in our community specifically, we have 5. Each of us get elected. We all serve over a particular committee, so either recreation, parks, golf, or administration, finance administration, and you kind of focus on those areas. And then you have a board president that kind of looks over everything as a whole. So being a park commissioner, the biggest thing is trying to get more programs, making sure we get capital improvements. For example, Waukegan, they're redoing Belvedere Park. In Falls Park, we have a plan to actually redo our major park down at the lakefront. And that's one thing that hasn't been worked on since I left. And that's why I'm running now, to get that project off the ground.
Okay, cool. So I interviewed the mayor. The mayor. Shout out to Mayor Leon Rockingham. He was here at the Wormhole the other day, and I was talking to him about the swimming pool.
Yep.
What's going on with that? Are you gonna get us a swimming pool, Vance?
So the swimming pool falls under Park District. It's under the Park District.
Okay.
So let's go back to the history of how the pool came to be. So the Park District and the school district agreed where they were going to split the cost of it, and the city was going to provide the water. So this happened back in the 90s or 80s or 90s when this agreement took place. They didn't get a contract. Since there was no contract, there was nothing enforceable under the law. So the Park District got stuck with holding the bag in a sense, and they could not sustain having the pool open. So what I'm trying to do is actually get it reopened. So Abbott and AbbVie, which redid our North Chicago Public Library, they gave us $3 million to redevelop our entire library. I want to bring them in and actually get our swimming pool open. When I was on the board the previous time, we fell 1 vote short from getting the Park District's pool open. So if we had one other commissioner that was in favor of getting our pool open, we would have had a swimming pool right now in North Chicago. But because of political reasons, it didn't come to fruition. So.
Damn. Well, I hope that everybody gets the pool out there. I mean, black kids and brown kids and white kids and everyone, we like to swim.
Yeah. I learned how to swim. I didn't get, since we don't have a pool in North Chicago, I didn't learn by, traditionally, like going through training or anything like that. I got pushed in the 12-foot. And
damn.
I'm here today. Let's just say that. So,
who pushed you in there, man?
It was some friends from 8th grade. We was over in Waukegan. Yeah. Let me just say, I'm here, so we good. Yeah, so.
My dad taught me how to swim. Shout out to him. He was around for like little things. You know what I mean?
That's important.
So it is.
And my dad used to actually, before he passed away, he worked for the Park District, so he was a foreman. And it's kind of funny. Yes, I was at the county board, which you should be the biggest thing that you would think of, but serving as the board president, which is actually the highest pinnacle point that you could be in at the Park District. And my father was a foreman, which was at the lowest end. For me, that was really a special moment because I remember going on Saturdays, closing the park up with my dad and being able to be the board president. So that's something that's really special to me, even to this day.
Absolutely. Shout out your dad's name.
Carl Wyatt, Sr.
Carl Wyatt. Wyatt. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your father. Yeah, but that's dope. He's watching over you. He's making sure, and you gonna win.
Well, he hated politics, so I guess we'll see. So,
oh shit! He probably like, what the hell you doing, man?
I know. Nobody else in my family is in politics.
Wow.
It just got into me, and I said I was going to run for alderman. Dropped out of college and said, "Hey, I'm going to do something." So.
Either way, I'm sure he's proud that you're actually doing something and being productive within the community. You're connected to so many different things. Can you talk a little bit about why it's important for millennials to get involved in politics and or outside of politics, just getting involved with what's going on in their community?
Sure. So here at the local level, specifically just in politics, the local level matters the most. Everyone says their vote doesn't matter. But here on the local level, when I got elected, I won by 2 votes. That same election, actually on election day, I was actually tied. So it was going to be literally a flip of a quarter was going to decide who the commissioner was. That same election year, we had 3 other people that were tied. They decided who their trustee or version of the alderman would be in their community by a quarter. They flipped a coin, and it was by chance who was eventually elected. So you really have the opportunity to affect change right here on the local level, but going even just to community, different things that are going on. If you see trash in the streets, yes, we have public works that should be picking it up, but that's the neighborhood, that's the block that you live on. You should be picking that up, because we want to have a beautiful community. We don't have a lot of money like they do in Lake Bluff, Lake Forest, that pay people to just go down the street and clean up. just take a little bit of leadership and just clean up your little bit of block. Even if it's just talking to one or two of your neighbors. There's a young lady that lives in the second ward of North Chicago that she does that. She goes out and cleans up the street. And then,
what's her name?
Latitra.
Latitra.
She's actually a barber. So
wow, I need to interview her.
Absolutely.
Shout out to her for doing that.
Yeah, she's over on Hervey, or she was on Hervey. Now she's on Dickey now.
Remind me about that, Vance.
Will do.
I want to interview her, Latitra.
Yep.
And she goes and picks up the trash in the neighborhood?
Yeah, she got out there with her kids and cleaned it up, making sure that it was actually her little area was clean, even though she was a renter. She made sure it was cleaned up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, we need more people like that in North Chicago, even in Waukegan and in Zion. Of course, we have issues. Park District for Falls Park has a lot of financial issues going on, but, we have to address them. So.
Who is it? Come on in, bro. I'm in the middle of an interview.
Oh,
What's going
it's
on?
Friends here.
Why should people vote for you?
Sure. So my biggest thing is making sure we get.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Why should people vote for you, Vance?
So my biggest thing is trying to make sure we get people the necessary needs or address the needs that we have in our community. Biggest thing is, of course, the pool and on our beach down in North Chicago. We have a beach that hasn't been open for almost 30 years in North Chicago. Most people don't even know about it. I actually was talking to a guy just earlier this week when I was knocking on his door. He had lived in North Chicago almost 40 years and had never heard of a beach in North Chicago.
I didn't know y'all had a beach.
We have a beach. The issue is...
It's got sand on the beach?
It's got sand on it. Actually, a lot of our sand actually ends up in Waukegan. So, because of the way that the Lake Michigan's flow of the water, it actually takes a lot of our sand in North Chicago and Lake Bluff and deposits it in Waukegan. So we have a beach.
So Waukegan's still in the sand?
we have agreement now to get our sand back. So we will have our sand back in North Chicago. It was approved by the Army Corps of Engineers. So that was based on the lobbying that was happened in 2017 and 2015 and 2017 when I went to D.C. to lobby the Army Corps of Engineers and our congressman to make sure that we can get our sand back, so we don't have to pay for it because sand is really expensive. Just the sand portion of that project was about $400,000 just to buy the sand if we had to purchase it versus going to Waukegan and getting that sand back. And Mayor Rockham has agreed to allow us to use city trucks to get the sand to transport it back from Waukegan.
Well, shout out to him for that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love the beach. I love the sand. I love
come
being
to North
in the
Chicago's
water.
beach, and guess what? You ain't got to pay for it or anything.
Really?
It's free.
Well, I'll be
Can I ask
glad.
a question?
Sure.
And you can just form it in the
Yeah.
meeting. What has dropped off from the time that you left and now the time that you want to come back? So what plans that you had in motion that kind of fell off now that you have to restart now that you're going to be back?
So what are some things that have fell off before you had gotten office as opposed to now? What's going to happen now that you're planning on being in office?
We have a master
your
plan. We have a
goals.
master plan for our park down at the lakefront. It's a $6 million plan. There has not been a single ounce of that being worked on at all. They've talked about clearing out trees to get to allow people to see the beach. I mean, which is fine, but what are we actually doing? We were trying to get basketball court down there. There's currently a skate park that should be transformed back into a basketball court. That's something that we're working on. We're also looking at getting a soccer field down there, redoing all of our. We're actually trying to look to have concerts down there. There's a whole plan, and also that horrible road that goes down through that park. It needs to be redone. So we have plans if the city won't do it, which it is their responsibility to pull that entire road up and actually make it into it's like a hexagon road where you literally, it's kind of like concrete blocks that you turn on the side that you can literally drive down there, and it won't be torn up on a regular basis as it has been. Back at the parks, my biggest thing was outsourcing the golf course. Because the golf course, for example, lost $500,000 just last year. So $500,000 was lost at our golf course. If we continue to keep it under the park district, we're going to continually lose money, and the park district is going to go bankrupt. So if we get that outsourcing done within the first year or so, we can avert a bankruptcy for the park district, which is horrible because if we were to do a bankruptcy, because you literally would have in a sense, you would have to sell off assets. So you lose parks under North Chicago that now anybody can buy them, and they don't have to keep it as a park. They could turn it into whatever they want. That's just one of the or a few of the different things that I'm trying to do going back to the park district. And it's fallen off. Even with the board, making sure that the community's up to date and knowledgeable of what's going on. It's different when you have someone that's not on social media that's running the board versus having someone that's on social media that can put out the information. This is what's going on in the park district right now.
So, I just got a question. Like,
Sure.
What is taking so long though? Like, why haven't they started on this? What is the priority list? Like, I know you being on this board, like, your priority is to make sure that this gets accomplished.
Absolutely.
But why is there any particular reason why it's taking so long, or why this is even being overlooked? Because I'm sure that people in North Chicago, or the community, they want to have a beach. They want to have, enjoy, what's going on in the city. So what's taking so long?
I'll say from my experience being on the board, I've had a board member where, they talk about they care about the kids when there's someone in the audience, but when there's no one in the audience, they don't seem to care about the kids.
Oh,
And I think that you have to that should be our focus is getting the parks together, not the golf course. The golf course portion, yes, it used to make money back in the 90s. This is not the 90s anymore, and we need to adapt, and our park district has failed to adapt. We cannot continue to operate as if this was the 1990s, and that's why I'm focused on trying to move us forward. Having new parks that are going to be beautiful to community, that are going to bring people into North Chicago and not have them leave. That's just one of the things I think that has been a hindrance is the members of the board. This go around in 2019, we'll have a majority of the board where there's only going to be one golfer right now. Everyone else will not be focused on the golf course or going up there to drink or anything like that to have a good time. The focus is on the kids, I think, this go around.
absolutely. We need to focus on the kids, and I think that's going to cut down the violence. That's going to cut down everything. Not to say that there's a bunch of violence going on in North Chicago, but just all over the place. We all need something. Kids need something to do.
Absolutely.
So opening up this beach, making sure the community is beautified. I like to say that word. I don't know if it is a word, but I like to say it. And just making sure that it's safe. We need that in order to make our communities great. So shout out to you for even attempting to going after it and trying to fight for it to happen, because it needs to happen. So thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to say to the people out there just about you and your race and your running? The election is April 2nd. But anything else you want to say to the people out there?
Sure. So I have a proven track record of getting things done from my time on both the library board, the park district, my previous time, and then also now, or my time when I was on the county board. The county board brought over $50 million back to our county board district. At the park district, we got 2 new parks that are being built from my 2 years being there on the board. One of them is currently being built right now. That's the old Coles Park next to First Baptist Church. And then at the North Chicago Public Library, working with my fellow commissioners to get, former trustees to get a $3 million remodel of our North Chicago Public Library. At the park district, getting the approval again of our beach. So if it wasn't for going there and lobbying to make sure that the Army Corps of Engineers approved it without a $100,000 grant or application just to do any type of work on our beach, and also getting the approval for the sand to be moved from Waukegan back into North Chicago, none of that would be. We wouldn't be on the precipice for that. And of course, going back into the financial issues. If we do not address the financial issues right now at the park district, the Falls Park District will go bankrupt. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just simple math. And I believe I'm the only candidate out of the 3 people that are running. Even though you get to vote for 2, the person that's the most qualified for it. I work as a financial analyst where I deal with $1.5 billion worth of financial claims in a year. So that's it's well more than 10 times the park district budget. So I really have the expertise to get the job done, and I'm looking forward to serving those 6 years and getting the job done over the next 6 years. So.
Okay. Carlos, look at the camera real quick. Is we still recording?
Yeah.
It's going. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Vance. Make sure that all of you follow the hashtag #JustDoIt_Vote Coalition page. Make sure you follow Vance and see what he's doing. Follow his race. I'm not going to be, let me cut that out. Because I'm going to, it's going to make it seem like I'm out here voting. Okay.
So go vote April 2nd for Vance Wyatt for Falls Park Commissioner.
Absolutely. Go out there and get out there and vote. I mean, we're part of the hashtag #JustDoIt_Vote Coalition. But our mission, we're not trying to tell anybody, I'm not trying to tell anybody who to vote for. But what I will say is you got to get out there and exercise your right to vote. You have to do it. It affects your communities. There are people out here who want to make your communities great. You can't be complaining about things that ain't going on and you ain't getting out there to vote. So make sure you do that April 2nd. Make sure you follow me. Continue following the Inchworm Show on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow me for more special guests. I got a lot of great interviews coming up. Vance, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Give me a
Absolutely.
handshake. All right, brother.
All right.
Peace.